Good morning, everybody, or at least good morning where I am at the moment. I hope everybody is doing well. For those of you who watched it, I hope you enjoyed
Good
as
morning
much
where I
as you
am at
can
the moment.
enjoy the what is it, Rain? The Napoleon video. I had a lot of fun doing that. That movie was fucking awful, though. The only thing, like, as bad as a movie can be, at least there's popcorn. Popcorn might be my favorite food. I um I have a problem with carbs, so my favorite foods I think might actually be like popcorn, mashed potatoes, um, meat pies up there. Meat pies are amazing. There's something to be said for just a nice slow cooked roast beef, um, with lots of garlic in it, lots of garlic and pepper and salt. That was what I always used to love. Sometimes Sunday night, my mom would make us all like a nice roast beef, and then some mashed potatoes and some, I don't know, fresh cooked green beans or something like that. Uh, and I always loved that. It's, it's a classic. Roast chicken's also good. You know, just kind of your standard Anglo fare. I like all kinds of food, but when I'm living on my own, what I normally do is I make myself a massive pot of something, and then I just kind of put it in Tupperware containers, and then that's my lunch for the next week or so. In particular, what I really like is, yeah, I made like curry last time. So you put a bunch of veggies in. I like to put a bunch of beans in, like some lentils and some meat, and mix it with rice, and then you have like complete meals. And I'm lazy, but so just having my cup of coffee. I was happy to find out that coffee actually has a bunch of like neuroprotective qualities. That is, I think it really helps prevent a lot of neurological degenerative diseases as you get older, like dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff. So that's good. That's my chemical vice is caffeine. I consume way too much of it, but I mean, as chemical vices go, it's pretty benign. So we will get started in a minute. Let me think. What else is going on? Okay, I'm just seeing what there is. There's just so much content in this game. It's hard for me to kind of get through all of it. Like we have just all like we have all this stuff too. Um, oh, by the way, can you hear that? Probably not. I finally like stopped being lazy and got some WD-40 for my chair, which should help out with that. Um, so that should be good. So we'll just give it another minute and then we will start. This weekend I'm gonna finish the my last assignment for my last class. I just have to submit that, and then I also have to do my exams, and then I'm done. And I'm so hyped for this shit to be done. I'm so tired of having to do my course. It's kind of funny because like when I look at my budget situation, I'm like, I don't really spend that much money on stuff. Why is my like budget not? Why don't I have a larger surplus? And I'm like, oh yeah, I spend like 8 grand a year on university courses, so that's probably why um, I don't have a larger surplus. So that money is probably going to go to trips. I've started putting aside money. I'm going to go to Germany next year. Come hell or high water, I'm going to fucking Germany. Okay, so we have one of the cringiest scenes coming up. Actually, you know what? Let's just take a look and see how the my policies are affecting Swordland. Let's start up here. England. Okay, nothing's really happening there. Okay, the Golcondists are angry at me. Okay. Some religious minority, who cares? Privatization of education. Okay, so it looks like only a small number of educations will transition. I mean, if it saves a large portion of the budget, I'd prefer that. Let's see here. It's pretty good coffee, actually. I'm drinking PC coffee. I find it a lot better than condemnation from United Cortana. I know it's Kanana, but I just want to say Cortana because that sounds better. Because it's the name of the blue waifu. Okay, so it's time for some cringe, ladies and gentlemen. Our motorcade slowly made its way towards the magnificent Benfi High Art Center. Night was falling and the festival was about to begin. Okay, we have a brochure. On the front page was the picture of Curtin Leste. I think he's part of the right wing of the party. I think he's to the right of Gloria Tori. Okay. So, Benfi Festival was one of the big events of the year. It originally marked the start of the annual religious pilgrimage, a week-long journey still undertaken by devout Nutrists. But today it was better known as a cultural celebration that drew thousands of revelers to the day. So just a whole bunch of cultural stuff that goes on this particular day. So let's see here. Since I'd refused to let her make the opening speech, her attitude towards me had changed. She now only spoke to me as if I asked her a question or if it was something important concerning the children. I'm just going to say nothing. Okay. I'm going to go find my seat. Okay, I spoke for a minute, reading a paragraph my speechwriter had churned out about the importance of the festival in Benfi to Swordland. I welcome the mayor. Okay, that's cool. And I nod at him. This is a night for the people of Benfi, indeed, for the people of Swordland, to put aside their differences and come together in celebration. Yet as we unite for festivities, we must remember the real reason we are gathered here. The festival founded around the principles of our cherished religion, Nutridi. Yet over the years it has been severed from its sacred roots to become something else. Based. An excuse for public drunkenness and grotesque displays of the flesh. An occasion for young women to parade their bodies and engage in lascivious behavior. What a king. Just calling them out. What is he talking about? Lascivious behavior? What century do we live in? The base century. Perversion hidden under the guise of art is not befitting the beautiful city. He's like talking about degenerate art. This guy is a Chad. Like, this guy's pretty based, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see here. As I said, perversion hidden under the guise of art, enough. The hall fell silent. Monica rose and continued. It's not about young women who are disgraced to this fine festival, but it's you. You and your backwards puritanical attitudes which have been holding this country back for too long. Monica, please sit down. No, I will not sit down this time. Women of Swordland, we will not let people like Mr. Leste use religion as a justification to demean and oppress us. Our time has come. I think Miss Raid is forgetting her place. Who do you think? What do you think my place is? The kitchen. This festival is not about your retrograde traditions. We are living in the current year of 1954, and it isn't your place to side on the people of Benfey. Especially the women should be celebrating this festival. Monica, that's enough. What do you mean I've barely started? Mr. President, could you please control your wife before she embarrasses herself any further? Monica, we've been over this. Now is not the time. Sit down. I'm so sorry, Anton. Next time I'll stay in the kitchen. You better stay in the fucking kitchen. Let's see. Every day I praise God that we have succeeded so far. He's a bit extreme, but he's right. We owe everything to God. Based. We must stay true to our values so that Swordland can prevail. Okay, there we go. This guy is fucking based. Praise God. Victory is close. So Monica's going to yell at me now, and I'm going to have to do some gaslighting to get out of this situation. Okay, downtime at home. What is there to talk about? I'm a disgrace with no support from her husband. It says so right here. Darling, believe me, my hands were tied. Anton, how could you? First, you denied me the opportunity to speak at the festival, and then you let that dinosaur, Lesty, make a mockery of me and my cause. With her shameful outbursts in Anrica, Mayor Curtin Lesty, First Lady Monica Rain once again proved that politics is an area best left to gentlemen. Swordland is kind of based. With the president providing no support, her challenge was quickly defeated. The president provided no support. You can't even stand Leste, and you took his side, while making me look like a fool. All these years I played by your side, playing the doting wife. You know, my mother was right about you. I thought you were capable of defending yourself. Okay, I'm not sure if I can forgive you for this, but you do have one more chance to make it up to me and offer real support. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gaslighting her into saying that I'm going to be helping her with stuff, with her women's liberation crap. Once again, like a couple of things that she proposes, I actually do kind of agree with. Like, I don't think. Like, I don't really get, like, criminalizing domestic violence seems reasonable to me. So, let's see here. Formation of the new police force. Okay. Good to see you, Carl. How have you been? We've tackled a bunch of security issues. The security situation in the country is more stable, allowing people to return to a normal life. Take a seat. We have been informed of the establishment of the anti-corruption police by the Ministry of Justice. Indeed so. Minister Morgan has given me full authority to lead the new force in order to fight corruption from within. Okay. It's a very powerful force, one that didn't exist before. My belief in you as the leader is unquestionable based. Minister Morgan, though not as inspiring as you, has shown great capability. The more I work with her, the more I am convinced that she's a very motivated and efficient administrator. I mean, that's true. There are elements within our state that have ulterior motives. May I speak frankly, sure? Sure, you are among friends. There are some very powerful deep state forces inside our administration. I like how they just say deep state. Like, it's just full mask off, noses exposed. But certain links we have discovered are troubling. Um, Mr. Hawker has financial. Where is it? 1 second. I just need to change the thumbnail for this video. There we go. Napoleon. He is a dangerous man. Currently, we are collecting evidence to find out exactly what his network compromises. We always suspected the existence of such a deep state. The real question here is who in the government is, the cabinet is on Mr. Hawker's side. Okay. We need to find who has ulterior motives and root them out of the admin. I couldn't agree more. Anyone who corrupts our system and creates parallel organizations is a threat to Swordland. The most important subject here is the Old Guard. They pose a direct threat to us. Once enough evidence is gathered, we should be able to begin the corruption trials. Hawker, Heron, and the rest of the Supreme Court won't be able to prosecute it as all. That means we can't cut off the head of the snake, but we will be able to strangle everyone around them. We also have the oligarchs. Okay, so talking about Marcel Cronte. So we're gonna say Marcel Cronte has been very supportive of my administration as a close friend. If you don't think he's an issue, then we move on. Let's just not talk about him. Okay, so we're gonna go with the Old Guard. Yeah, I'm gonna take down the Old Guard. Yeah. That should conclude a meeting. Thank you for your time, Carl. Okay, so I'm going to go after the deep state with the anti-corruption police. It's purely for political reasons, but we're going to pretend it's trying to get corruption away from the system and gaslight the population. A large portion of this whole thing is just like you gaslighting people. Okay, budget allocation meeting of the armed forces. Let's start the meeting. Okay. First off, we've received an updated communication from Arquesian Military Command. Their planes are being moved in under our supervision, of course. Do your best to make them feel at home. We will try our best. Now let's move on to our military. What branch would you like to know about? I'm really not interested in the details, so we're just going to continue on. Disappointed about the lack of internal additional funds. Resources were needed elsewhere. The military has always been well funded. We live in a geostrategic region with potential viability. Once war comes a knocking, this is when you will realize. Okay. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place without money. The military suffers from budget overextension in order to keep up with other countries. Like, dude, we didn't cut your money. We kept it the same. No use complaining. Let's look at what we can do with what we have. I have been planning to improve the quality of the armed forces by buying better military equipment. How is that possible? It won't be. There is one way. If we relieve half the forces, that could create enough of a surplus that we can invest in new equipment. Quality over quantity, I like it. We are barely matching the size of half our neighbors, while the other half have armies 2 sizes bigger than ours. Charging half the armed forces and buying new gear solve our defensive issues. So it would make sense to expand the size of the army normally, but as I'm going to be joining the ATO, I don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, I'm going to reduce the size of the army and get better equipment. Okay. Good work, everybody. Yeah. So I think that was a good idea. So let's move on. We have a couple diplomatic things to do now. Hate trade talks with Saddam Hussein. I saw the soldiers lined up on either side of a red carpet. There must have been at least 100 of them. A marching band started playing, and the soldiers immediately saluted me. Salute them back. At the bottom of the stairs, Victor Smolak was waiting for me next to a military jeep with a few soldiers by his side. There was a few reporters at the edge of the crowd waiting with the cameras. He was a tall man, almost as tall as me. He was wearing large sunglasses and a regular suit, contrasting with the military attire of everyone else. Mr. President, welcome to Raklowitz. So it's based off of Iraq, but they have Polish names for everything. He immediately motioned for embrace. We hugged, and many cameras went off at the same time. He turned around for a couple of additional poses. Nice to meet you, Mr. President. Now that the president's pleasantries are done, let's go. I'm going to salute the soldiers. Okay. We'll go to the city center first to see the unveiling of a statue. Whose statue? Mine, of course. Well, that's nice, man. I come all the way from Swordland, and like the first thing we do is go and look at a statue of you. On almost every corner, there were reporters taking photos of us. Apart from them, though, the streets were completely empty. Is it always this empty? I had this part of the city closed down because of your visit, so that you could enjoy the city in peace. Yeah, this country isn't shady at all. Not shady at all. There we are. Okay. There are large crowds of people gathered behind the fences, waving Swordland and Wellhen flags. My people have been very supportive of this visit, Mr. President. I'm sure you are delighted to see them. A man came closer to the fences and started yelling at Victor. With my limited knowledge of the Westsec language, I understood the words Victor and murderer. Almost instantaneously, 2 soldiers came up from behind the man and he was taken away. Thankfully, the sun is out. Today will be good for the reveal. What will happen to the man who is protesting you? Oh, which man? The one in the crowd? Don't worry about the details. He must have been a troubled fellow. Let's focus on the events. It was a fairly good likeness, although more muscular than the real Victor. He was wearing a cloak and holding a sword in his hand. Yeah, it's a good statue, Victor. Glad you appreciate the art behind it. Join me for a walk. We stopped in front of a pastry vendor on the street. Give me 2 strudels. I'm going to try to pay the street vendor. Hold on, your money doesn't count here. I got this. He handed the money to the street vendor with a huge smile on his face. The camera flashed again. So he wasn't going to even give money to the vendor. What a sleazebag. Let's see here. Bring the Kisha. A few assistants immediately entered the room carrying a large ornamented Kisha, a well-known smoking instrument originating from Wellhen. I'm assuming it's like a hookah, kind of. It was probably the highest quality tobacco I had ever smoked. I handed it back. Mr. President, that's too long. Can I call you Anton? Sure. Anton, tell me, what do you think about Roomberg? They are a threat to the region. I agree with your sentiments, Anton. They are a threat to everybody in the region. I assure you their time will come. Dude, you barely have control over your country. You're gonna go to war with a superpower? That doesn't seem like a smart idea. Are you planning something? Well, not yet. First, I need to solve some problems they're creating for me. I'm listening. He clapped his hands. Two assistants came into the room with a map of the border regions of Welham and Swordland. He pointed at the border. Look. Bloods and their so-called Bloodish Freedom Front are causing problems for me in the region. They are getting increasingly dangerous with Rumberg's active support. I know they are a problem for you as well. I will not allow these traitors to exist within my borders, so I will hit them with all the might of Welham. These terrorists need to be destroyed. Based? I will cut their supplies from Rumberg and trap them in the mountains. I call it Operation Bear Trap. What do you want from me? I will give you objectively the best trade deal in the region. You will give me your assistance crushing the terrorists on both sides of our borders. I need specifics. Sure. Okay. So basically, if I help him in massacring the Kurds, he's gonna come in and give me access to his country's oil and other stuff. Let's negotiate Swordland's contribution. You are a tough one, Anton. Normally I wouldn't offer anything else, but I like you. Here's my final offer. When the operation starts, with or without you, there will be stragglers trying to cross into Swordland. We want you to support the operation even if you got joined. Stop the terrorists from fleeing into your country. Simple as it. What does it think? No deal, I'm afraid we can't accept. That's unfortunate. I thought we could be friends. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, so an event didn't fire that was supposed to fire, so let me just reload. That unfortunately happens sometimes in this game. There was supposed to be a way to screw with him and get him to give you a better deal while providing even less, but that obviously didn't happen this time. So, where is it? Is that it? I really enjoy this game, but it can get a little frustrating sometimes. I do kind of wonder if some things are just very randomized or do nothing. Okay. Okay, let's see here. I'm just trying to get to this. Okay. What is it you want from me? Okay, specifics. There might be international ramifications. Let's negotiate Swordlands. Okay. So I have made a deal with Wellhen. So the agreement is that they will provide me with basically an unfair trade deal, and in return, if any of the Bloodish Freedom Front attempt to flee into my country during their crackdown, my army will take care of them. Which is basically nothing. Like, I don't want terrorists coming into my country anyways. So, sure, that sounds good to me. Education reforms. No, there's no monarchist. A monarchist option would be cool, but I don't think Turkey's ever had a monarchist movement, which I find really weird that there's no like restore the Ottoman movement in Turkey, whereas like a lot of countries at least have like a token monarchist movement. I don't even think there's a token monarchist movement in Turkey. Okay, so let's see what the overview is. Recovered trade volume. Okay, so we're starting to get trade volume back again. Tourism industries at average. Let's see what were the problems at the moment. Kurdistan is shitty. Corporations are downsizing. Welfare is okay. We're gonna fix healthcare and education very soon. Situations, corruption, organized crime, nationwide protests quelled. Tariff-free oil trade with Wellhin. Okay, that sounds good. Next, we're going to try to make a deal with Agnolia. So I think Heligiland is basically Cyprus, which is tested between Agnolia and Valgisland. So Agnolia is a neutral country, and Valgisland is a communist country. Although it's more syndicalist. It's kind of like the Union of Britain. It's very similar to the Union of Britain in Kaiserreich, where it is a socialist country and it is part of the Third International, but it's substantially less totalitarian than the Union of France and a lot of the other socialist countries. Okay. According to the deal we've negotiated so far, they want us to sell us their steel. Want to sell us their steel for a higher price, and they're requesting easier access to our agricultural market. In return, they are promising cash flows and investments, especially in the Eggland region. It's not hard to guess why. Okay. Precisely, Angolan immigrants in our Eggland region make up a good chunk of the economy. They want more immigration, but we, yeah, so they're angry that we reduced immigration, but whatever. Sorry for continuing to repeat this, but let me know if I'm reading enough of this out loud. Just some of the stuff, like the details, if you really want to read it, you can pause. But just the descriptions would just take a long time. Okay, I'm going to wave to the crowd. Prime Minister Van Horten, kind of like Tim Horton, I guess. Moves to the car with Serge. Good day, sir. I hope the flight was comfortable. Yes, it was. Thank you, Serge. I wonder if you could appoint Serge as your VP. I want Serge to be my running mate in the next election. He just goes out and he starts singing like Swedish folk songs, and like everybody just loves him. They're not happy to see us. Yep, they aren't happy to see us. Okay, a bunch of people are protesting. You know, I never knew the Angolians were so ungrateful. Not everyone sees a great leader like you so every day. I love you, Serge. I wish you could make Serge like Frank's godfather. They can yell all they want. I know what it is. They were always scared of Swordland's potential. And now they are afraid that a lion leads Swordland. They're afraid of you. Not just that, but you are a man who is selfless enough to help your driver's children. A true leader, I dare say. How is little Anton doing? He's fine, sir. A strong boy, takes after his namesake for sure. Oh yeah, I did pay for like all of his kids' education. So it does kind of make sense that he would like be fanatically loyal to me. I mean, if you're president, having the dude who drives you around and makes like your like who's around you 24/7, having that dude unconditionally loyal to you is good. You want that. Prime Minister. Shake hands. Okay, this way, please. I'd like to present you with a gift as a sign of friendship between your two countries. It contains a single sheet of parchment inside. This is one of the first treaties written between Swordland and Magnolia. May it mark the renewal of our friendship as well. This is an amazing gift. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to give him... Gift a swordish bred puppy despite Martin's well known fear of dogs. Give an ornamental sword made with swordish steel. An excellent specimen. This must be hundreds of years old. It looks like swordish steel. Very fitting. Thank you. Let's go to my office. Follow me. It's good to be done with ceremonies. I was just about to say I'm not fond of those either. Okay. I'll take some Magnolia and vodka. Let's get straight to business. Let's. First of all, I would like to say that I've been watching your recent immigration policy changes. We have worries about the new, tighter immigration laws. Immigrants are very important for beneficial economic development. We believe that very much in Magnolia. Well, we don't. I would definitely prefer Swordland to be welcoming to Angolian citizens and vice versa. The decision has already been made, unfortunately. So tell me, Mr. Raid, is Swordland a reliable trading partner? As long as Magnolia is a reliable trading partner, I can assure you we are. So what is it going to be? Okay. Can't we work something out? It is difficult. One alternative, we want privileged access to your agricultural market, higher steel prices, and to recognize Hedgeland. Okay, so this is one budget, but it's like it's more trade, so that's good. I'm trying to pursue a capitalist path, and I'm going ATO anyway, so pissing off the communists doesn't bother me. Okay. All right. So I will get +2 budget for the deal I made with Wellham. Okay. Increased trade volume. Okay. Let's see here. So if we look at diplomacy, we're doing good. We just have to deal with Rumburg and lack of allies. So that's good. We do have good trade. We have good energy prices. So that stuff is all going well. Law and order is definitely something that needs to be resolved sooner rather than later. Welfare and education I have not dealt with yet, but that'll be dealt with soon. Okay, I have lots more international trade. That's good. No, I can't make a deal with Lesbia. That's fine though. You can only make a deal with like 2 of the 4. All right, so I think things are going decently well, at least for a country that's in the middle of an economy, a crisis. Uh, okay, so they condemn me. Okay, that's fine. Do whatever you want. I don't care. Okay. Speech of the president on the reforms. Started it last night and I love it. Yeah, like I want to support the devs. From my understanding, they're like an independent company. And I have to like there's so many shitty independent devs that released half finished games and stuff that looks good on the surface but complete garbage. I will give these guys all the credit in the world for doing something different, for actually finishing it. Like, even if I complain about 2.0 a lot and the changes they make, and a lot of them are annoying, but I'll give them credit for supporting their game and releasing additional story content. And if people complain like that something needs to be fleshed out, they will go in and they will do that and they won't charge for the additional content. So I have to give them a lot of credit, and you have to like promote people who are actually trying to make a decent product. Um, so, uh, so yeah, with that. So there is a cursing between parties. There was a heavy argument about a proposal made by an MP from the National Front Party. Let's see, order. I saw Kelso Kybner standing up from his seat and shouting towards members of the PFJP. Mr. Kybner, calm yourself. Show respect for the members of this council. Okay, Mr. Kybner, next time when I tell you to do so, either take your seat or leave the hall. Okay. All right, if you'll allow me to continue, she put at me. We have the president here with us today. He has asked to give an important announcement. You have the floor, Mr. President. Honorable members of the Assembly, I'm here to raise the important question regarding our Constitution. So, I'm doing this all under the guise of separation of powers, although all the separation of powers basically make me stronger, or they introduce stuff that makes it look like I'm less strong, but is largely irrelevant given the current political situation. I call everyone to stand by us to make historic changes to our Constitution and bring it to the standards of today's world. We will rebalance the branches of government to ensure a more democratic process. I'm going to focus on hope and change. Okay, we will write the old and make a constitution that will reflect the will of the people and open the way for democratic Swordland. We will make Swordland great again. Yes, we'll make Swordland great again. I ask everyone here to think and join us for change. I ask everyone, ladies and gentlemen, I demand your votes. Let's write the future together. Salute the crowd. We're in United Swordland. Assembly war with all kinds of different reactions. The whole United Swordland party stood up and started applauding. So it looks like I've got my entire party behind me. I mean, basically, my constitution is relatively moderate changes. There's nothing about it really that the conservatives or reformists have to like be against, and I don't think the Liberal Party will have any issue with it. The problem with the Liberals and the so because the United Swordland Party is a very big tent, there's a lot of moderates within it. However, the Liberal Party and the other party, the National Front, are both just very autistically committed to their ideologies. Like they just will not compromise on anything, which kind of makes it difficult to deal with them. they either insist on like 100% liberal democracy now, or we want just total fascy shit. Um, in a and there's like no willingness to negotiate at all. So, but that's how it is, and that's what's being president told that. Yes, Mr. Richter, thank you, Ms. Speaker. I would like to thank Mr. President for his speech. We and the People's Freedom and Justice Party stand in agreement with the need for a more democratic constitution. We'd like to thank the ladies and gentlemen for their more open attitude compared to past years. As long as Mr. President's words prove not to be just words, we will be behind this much-needed movement for change. We welcome this intent. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The President must have lost his mind to cooperate with the likes of you, Mr. Richter. You and the PFJP are nothing but puppets of Western interests. Order. Madam Speaker, I know you were in agreement with me in it as well. Do not simply idly by while the administration is making deals with snakes and under the mind the legacy of I demand to speak. Very well, Mr. Kavner, go ahead. The nationalist movement does not agree with your priorities nor the way you're trying to implement them. The National Front will not stand with you on your new constitution. Let it be known that the NFP concerns are not included in this so-called democratic reforms. Thus, Mr. President has no right to claim them as such. What kind of bullshit logic is that? We stand our ground against any attempt to bring down our established political culture and national values. I don't know how I'm doing that, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to speak. Mr. Richter, thank you for, we would like to have cooperation between our parties. I expect your support, Mr. Richter. We can do much together. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So it's the end of the term. I think the next chapter is called Trials of Democracy. Oh, Wealth of Nations. Okay. All right. Let's see what the updates I get are. Come on. You can do it. Okay. Overview. Requested meeting of Iosif Lancia. Okay, so Iosif is coming in. Let's get to my office. This must be something serious, especially since you invited me here. It is important you don't get misinformed on this. Velkin has another agenda. He leans back and interlocks his hands. The situation with Rumberg is getting worse, and our lack of funding in the military means we would fight for survival in a war scenario. What are our options to improve the situation? Without any substantial military support from other nations, any military support from other nations would be a welcome deterrent against Rumberg. As a result of our deal with Wilhelm, we have started reinforcing the border. Okay, that's good. We'll be providing reports to you. Okay. We don't know what we're dealing with yet. We are ready for any situation, Mr. President. Let's move on to our main topic. The mandatory conscription law has become a matter of discussion, and we need to strike a decision whether to keep or remove it. The facts are that the conscription gives us a large reserve pool that can cover a front line, but these troops lack morale and quality to be an offensive element. My argument would be to remove conscription if our military can stand on its own 2 feet without them. If we are going to have strong allies, why do we need conscripts? What is the meaning of this, Iosif? Why haven't I been invited? What is going on here? You are overstepping and interrupting a personal meeting between me and the President. I see what's going on here. I mean no disrespect, but I am leading the ground operations, and I must be informed of any strategic changes. What is your opinion on conscription? Our forces have gone large structural changes. Okay, Rumburg has a larger army. Okay. This is a modern age. It requires a modern army. That settles it then. I would ask you to reconsider. Nope, remove mandatory conscription. It's time to have a professional force of willing enlisted soldiers. Okay. Have a good day. Okay, so getting rid of conscription gave me 2 additional budget. Once again, I don't really have to worry about so like at the moment I have like an okay, fairly modern military, but not one that's particularly large or advanced, which is fine for what I want, because I want to be able to provide some value to the ATO, but the military is just not a priority at the moment. If I was doing a second term, I would probably increase funding to the military, because the economy would be in a better place to bear the cost. But if I'm in the middle of like basically a huge depression, I can't really afford to spend that much on the military. Okay, briefing on the current economic situation. Let's see here. Okay, Spurg Economist. It's good to be here. As you know, we will go over the economic status. Let's begin without further ado. The aid from our Arcasia helped us tremendously. Personally, I think it was a great decision. We will use the majority of the capital to combat the... What's the end point? Okay, so there's a couple different endings for this game. There's winning re-election. There's being removed in a coup. There's losing the war. There's retirement. There's a bunch of different ones. You can get coup. You can get like not necessarily coup, but you can get your party to choose someone else as their candidate for the upcoming election. Normally Lilius. In one ending, I got Lilius defeated me as leader, and then I went into exile and became extremely wealthy. So I expect nothing less from our Arcesian friends. Well said. How are we doing in terms of infrastructure? The first months had positive indicators, but the delay has reversed economic gains. Okay. The National Business Council isn't happy. Okay, focusing on future investment is more important. Okay, any reliance on credit could damage our future. Status of trade deal with Agnolia. Our trade deal with Agnolia has increased our imports by 25% in 1 month, and we expect to have more in the future. It didn't result in a trade surplus. That's what we expected. Okay. All right. Let's hear about our deal with Willen. Our trade deal with Willen has increased our imports and exports by 60% in 1 month, which is a considerably good number. That was a dangerous gamble. I'm just glad it started to pay off. The payoff is high, yes, but so is the risk. Our support for their military operation was questionable. Regardless, the numbers are clear. I must say, okay, so I feel like we've made a contract with the devil. I hope that was the right decision. There's no use deliberating now. Increased trade has improved our economy. I see this as a reason for celebration. On a side note, consumer spending has decreased further due to a pessimistic attitude. We will turn the situation around. Okay. Our budget reserves don't look good. We will need to look into whatever we can to increase the budget we have. I mean, my budget is like fine. It's at 0. You can go up to -7 without any major issues. What can we do about it? Okay, I'll formulate a plan. don't want to frighten you, but if we are unable to stop this recession, we are heading towards an economic catastrophe that has never been seen before in Swordland. No, in all of Eastern Mercopa. Like, I don't get why the economy is in a free fall. We did infrastructure spending. We did trade deals. We didn't overly increase taxes. Don't worry, we'll end the recession, I promise. Okay, we can tackle it. The good news is the government has a perfectly balanced budget. Okay. Okay, what kind of projects do we have? We're going to go with the Benfi International Airport. We're going to go with that. Okay, I think I'm going to go with that. Anybody want to add anything? Okay. I don't think our economy is doing that poorly, is it? I don't know. We'll see. Invest in a mega project. We are going to invest in the Benfi International Airport. Like I said, I can go up to -7 budget without any issues. Let's see here. Education privatization update. Okay, stuff is going good. Okay, escalating tensions in Bergia. We need to inform you of the news from Bergia. There is a court case. Okay. So this is like really boring and legalistic. So we're going to just skip through a lot of this because I really don't want to go all over it. Basically Bergia, aka Kurdistan, is a special administrative zone that gives the governor there basically dictatorial powers to do whatever he wants. And these two want Bergia to be incorporated into Swordland as a normal province, subject to the same laws as everyone else. I'm sorry guys, I just don't care about going through all this constitutional stuff. Okay. The Chauvin was not able to get, the Supreme Court refused to hear his case. So Derek Chauvin got stabbed? What? That's horrible. What exactly is the case about? So basically what they're going to do, just kind of summarize the whole situation, is the Blood is suing the government on the grounds that Bloods are swords, no different from any other sword, and that it is discriminatory and goes against the Constitution that establishes all people of Swordland as swords, to have a special administrative zone that represses them. Which, to be fair, is kind of accurate. Okay. I mean, I'm okay with racism, but we need to. I don't know. One situation just sounds like a meme. Restructure Swordland, become a region of that. Okay. Okay. Are you sure we can revoke the special? Okay. All right. Okay. Let's hear your proposal. I propose that we restructure the special zone and democratize it and acknowledge the bloodish movement. How does that resolve anything? How do you solve any problems by dividing the region from the rest of Swordland? I want to hear Mia's proposal. Millions of bloodish people suffered over the last decades. We saw a massive uprising, terror attacks, and the governor going rogue. The people we wanted to live in this country as equals, but were denied that. Why don't we allow the Bergians to elect their own local government? We should replace the oppressive laws of the special zone with a democratic system that allows for proper local representation. I propose the Bergia semi-autonomous region. Um, so interesting. Now, this is one of those things where it's almost kind of like a horseshoe theory thing, where like the left of the party wants an autonomous region, the center right of the party doesn't. But I think you could make a case that decentralization is justifiable under conservative and Catholic um, principles. Obviously, what's happening now isn't working. I think I actually am kind of in favor of the semi-autonomous region, so long as they don't secede and they pay their taxes and they broadly speaking follow Swedish laws. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. It's we have to like trying to repress them didn't work, trying to resettle them didn't work. So we'll see. I don't think expulsion is an option. Plus, there's nowhere to expel them to. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the autonomous zone. Okay. Yep. Begin work immediately. So I don't know. Maybe that's a super liberal decision, but it's clearly not working. The central bank. Let me look at Curious what this one does exactly. I'm just going to look at this. Um, Keep in mind, there's no shame in using a guide for this game because it's not bad with regards to what things actually do, but it's yeah. Let's see. I'm looking for. Okay. Central bank reinforcement. Uh, I don't really know what this thing does. Apparently, it synergizes well with my other pulls. You know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my mind, boys. We're gonna directly incorporate uh, Kurdistan into the rest of the country. Um, we're gonna go with that. I've changed my mind. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. I have to throw the conservatives a bone every now and again. Hey, I'm gonna just revoke the special status. I'm just gonna make it a normal. Okay, let's hear your proposal. Uh, okay, we're gonna unify with the rest of Swordland. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. This is a mistake. Perfect, get to work immediately. I think that's a fair compromise. So we're getting rid of the corrupt, brutal governor. Okay, so we're going to pass the Central Bank Reinforcement Act. And that is going to give us further stuff problems. Let's see what's next on the docket. Budget allocation of healthcare. Here we go. Red polio crisis in Welhen. Mr. President, it's time for the scheduled healthcare meeting. Very well, let's begin. Very troubling news from Welhen. There is a polio outbreak. Indeed, this might have dire consequences. What are we doing to prepare? We have notified all the healthcare staff. Unfortunately, these are also the more rural areas where we lack equipment and staff. Okay, more than 1 million people affected with polio. The overall mood has been positive as the administration focuses more on healthcare. I'm excited what we can achieve with the allocated funds. Okay. Yeah, I can't privatize healthcare. Uh, I think because the conservatives have said that they will sink me, and the Supreme Court will impeach me if I do that. We'll keep healthcare under state control. As you with the health services shall remain public. Extra funds dedicated. You got to give Lucian credit. He is very good at the political aspect of it, and he's like actually a fairly intelligent centrist. Okay. All right. I am going to improve rural treatment. If you privatize, you get two budget. You get two choices. I'm not privatizing, but that should be helpful. Quality rural health services. Also, my base, I'd imagine, is conservative rural folk. So, I think that's good. Okay. Talks with friends, Richter, on the upcoming vote. It's good. Thank you for the gift. I'm surprised by this proposal you prepared for the new constitution. I really do not understand why you're reasoning behind some of the changes. What parts don't you understand? I don't know where to begin. You're not reforming the presidential decree process. The process is the opposite of democratic. Not to mention you ignored our demands to lower the undemocratic electoral threshold. Like, what an asshole. Like I'm changing a lot of stuff for you, dude. A realist? So this proposal is realistic, but what we demand is not? Yes. Okay. What are you thinking about? Not only have you minimized the potential for support, you've taken away the spotlight from our party members who campaigned for these reforms for all years. You better have something to offer. I'm sure you have something in mind. Okay, so we're gonna bribe him. Nothing a check worth close to $1 million couldn't fix. Now you got my attention. So we had all that principled shit, like we want democracy, we need democracy now. You're compromising, and then I just give him like a check, and he's like, okay. I'll see you in the history books. What a sleaze bag. All the like shit about how like it's just award company contract. Uh I'm gonna go with Taurus Holding again. And this is building the airport, I think. Okay, a call from Gus. Let's see here. Updates on the situation of education. Okay. She's just complaining about privatization. Okay, we have three potential options: new rural schools, improve the standards of existing ones, or increase salaries for all educational workers. Because of the privatization, we have additional stuff. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Okay, we're going to improve rural education. And we are going to build new rural schools. Okay. So once again, we've reached out to the conservative base. We have decisively improved medical and other infrastructure. Improved rural schools. See, I have a bunch of positive modifiers now. Let's see. Accessible rural education. Okay, let's see. Law enforcement still needs work. The economy is like not going badly. It's not going good, but it's not going terribly. Let's see what Gus Manager says. Yes, what is it? Okay, he said it's about investment. Excellent, connect him through. Mr. Manager, to what do I pull the pleasure? Mr. President, I'm calling to discuss about the discussion we had at the party. A very enjoyable party. Okay, then let's hear about the results. Well then, I'm very happy to inform you that your investment in FC Enrica has been accepted by the board members. Motivation will make us champions. With the new investment coming into the club, the management is already looking to transfer big names to the squad. Okay. All right, so I made some money. Okay, so I got some additional money. I'm supporting Swordfish football. And yeah, things look pretty good. Okay, Gasom share divestment. I think we're going to sell these because I could use the money. Okay, I'm just going to sell these, I think. Because I need more budget. Okay, so this is going to be probably the most difficult decision in the game, or one of the most. You have to choose whether we're going to teach creationism or evolution in schools. Rural schools often decide in favor of creationism only because they're based. The effect is noticeable among young women. My suggestion is to ban creationism altogether. I don't see a problem with teaching our children both theories. But does creationism really help open the minds of our children? Okay. There must be a place for religion in our schools. Okay. Under nudity, women like myself are second-class citizens. There are other considerations you may have not thought about. Although I myself believe in evolution, we must be careful not to alienate our rural conservative voter base. We owe a lot to their support. Forcing their school district to teach evolution could irreparably damage our standing with them. Every modern nation is reducing or removing creationism from their curriculum to promote their fundamental and yes sexist ideas from 1,000 years back. So this is what we're doing now, copying what other nations are doing instead of paving our own way. Okay. So they're arguing. This is rough. So it's hard because I personally believe in evolution. I don't like young Earth creationism. On the other hand, I get that evolution is shorthand for atheism. So let's see if we can do a compromise. So I can either make evolution mandatory, but allow creationism to be taught alongside it, or make creationism mandatory, but allow evolution to be taught alongside it. So the problem is, if I select this one, I get a negative. I get a negative modifier for inconsistent education. But if I go with this one, I get a bonus. My personal preference would be teaching both. I feel I've been making too many liberal decisions this time. So we're going to go with less educated populace is more easily managed. Okay, so they're angry at me. So I'm going to get inconsistent education, I think, by virtue of that. Inconsistent curriculum. Confusion of students, and they may receive an incomplete education with different curriculums. Okay, well, we're gonna go with that. I've done too much to appease the liberals, so we aren't gonna do anything else. Lobby efforts in the lobby. So I'm gonna spend basically all my personal wealth to try to bribe MPs to vote for the constitutional amendments. Attending Victory Day. Okay, so celebrate the end of the sort of civil war. See, I wasn't joking. Surge is the best. No kidding. My driver, Sveta, can't hold a candle to him, although I sure wouldn't mind navigating her dangerous curves someday. What a fucking sleazebag. I still don't know why you chose Peter to be your VP. Like, if I could have chosen my own VP, I probably would have taken Gloria Tori. I think picking someone who's relatively popular with the party and popular with the base um, would probably have been a good idea. Uh, but unfortunately, you can't do that. Um, I'm no special man. It is the Cadillac. Okay. Okay, so it's time for some G Slur Ops, boys. We have basically everybody here from the National Front, the United Swordland Party, and the Reformist Party. Okay. We gave our support without reservation. The blood question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this analysis is about racism and radicalization in Swordland. Our main topic in the case of please don't try to spin it. Of course, the problem is the National Front are spurgs. Like, once again, my constitutional reforms are not particularly radical. And my policies have been fairly socially conservative. The fact that I don't want the kids to keep worshiping Soul, I don't think like makes me a liberal. Okay, surprised you conduct a joint analysis. Our parties have vastly different opinions. Okay, that's fine. Okay, all right, I'm listening. We are working on the Unified Language Act. It is directly aimed at the breeding ground of the Blood Freedom Front. Okay, so we will pass the other act. I objected to the idea of restricting, like basically the Catholic priesthood to people with a certain ethnic background. That doesn't. I don't agree with that on religious grounds. Does not take away anyone's rights. It only gives the state a way to control the radicalization in these schools that teach bloodish nationalist propaganda. Yeah, I agree with that. The bloodish language should be done completely banned. We'll never even vote for your watered down bill. Remus. Uh, I'll have to read it before I sign it. Okay. So it looks like they're on they're kind of in a state of confusion as to whether or not they want to pass the Unified Language Bill. Let's see. Everybody knows. They're already working to remove the authority of the governor. That's surprising but great to hear. Okay. Spark is all the BFF needs. Okay. As much as I support a strict response against the BFF, I like how even like the shitlib is like, yeah, we have to do something about the terrorists. We have to do both. You are a BFF apologist. Remus shouted the last sentence. Please don't raise your voice, Mr. Holstrud. Is the USP that desperate for Mr. Richter's support? Now, I mean, we kind of are desperate for their support. Last person to sway the PFJP. Okay, can we get back on topic? You heard the man. Please finish your point, Mr. Richter. Okay, we have to expand the rights of the Bloods population while stamping out the BFF militants in parallel. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, we have the ongoing court case. I'm aware of the case. We're working on revoking the special zone. We will give support. Okay. What are your plans and suggestions? If the court reiterates the definition of sword in Article 6 as an all-encompassing term, that would be acknowledging that Urson and others like him are indeed protected by the rights of the Swordish people, which they indeed are. I mean, that seems like a pretty fair. As a result, the resettlement policy would be reversed, opening the way for the removal and the de-escalation of tensions in Serbia. That makes a lot of sense. It can work for the time being, but I believe we can push for a more comprehensive reform. Our Constitution fails to recognize the Bloodish people. It's time we abolish the inherent racism in it. The citizens of Swordland are swords. What racism are you talking about? Solism is based on base civic nationalism, not ethnic. Okay, this is a swordland. You can describe yourself to whatever idea you want, but if you're a citizen, you are a sword. That's how nations work. Based? Yeah, so Remus Holstrud is like just like an open ethno-nationalist. We have to support the inherent racism of our Constitution. Okay. The court's interpretation. I'm sorry if I'm skipping through this. There's just a lot of legalese here. Not that it's poorly written. Um, let's see. Okay, I love Remus. In my opinion, an all-out rebellion would be the preferred outcome. If enemies do truly live within our borders, I'd rather them show their true faces earlier rather than later. Okay, we can't allow that to happen. Okay. I'm gonna agree that bloodshed people are swords before the law. Okay, so everyone's in agreement on that. I think that's like a good conservative approach to it. Gas share result, low returns but plus 2 government budget. So that's good. So I don't know. The government, like, things don't seem to be going that bad. We're gonna hopefully deal with the Kurds. Um, the economy looks like it's progressing along, more or less. Is the highway still not finished yet? The train? Okay, a call for Marcelle Conte. The meeting was going to be about the ownership of the Big Four, Heart of Swordland, Bergia Steel, Stordish State Corporation, and Nedem Mining Group. Okay. Some are private, some are public. Greetings, Mr. President. I'm sorry to disturb you before such an important meeting, but I thought now would be a good time to talk about our arrangement. I'm sure you'll agree that the support I and my network have given your administration has been nothing but beneficial. Half of the non-state media in the country has been sharing positive news about you and downplaying current events. Our partnership has been successful so far. I'm glad you agree. On another note, I have to give credit where credit is due. Your bailout of businesses greatly benefited certain subsidies of Heart of Swordland. Okay. High profit report and return, ensuring employment is our target, of course. The increased taxes have hurt. It's nothing we can't endure. Unfortunately, we had to tighten our belts where it occurred. He's just complaining about it. Let's see. Let's talk about the cards. Since the start of your campaign, you've wisely committed to a market economy. Judging by that, I'm sure you are looking to privatizing some of the companies that are currently state-owned. I believe that privatizing both would be in both of our interests. After all, I'm considering buying stocks in both companies. Um, Privatizing both might be too much. I will be blunt. Mr. Tusk is unfit to be the spokesman for the Lotharberg Group. His archaic thinking has only preserved a status quo that benefits him and oppresses few others. It's high time something changed. I see where this is going. I want him gone. It's time the group had a proper leader, me. Here's what I propose. If you promise me a majority of the shares from the privatization, he would lose considerable power, which means I can take over. You may recall that one of the terms of our agreement was that I may ask you for one favor. Well, this is it. Do you accept? Of course, a deal's a deal. Okay, I'll just keep our word. As my father said, he would have liked to. I've taken up enough of your time. Okay. Thank you, Marcel. Talk to you later. Okay, it's time for the privatization discussion. So we're going to do partial privatization. Okay, so there we go. That's good. Resettlement has been revoked. However, the court has also rejected the argument that about the Constitution, ruling that all swords of Swordland are sword regardless of their ethnicity and are completely equal before the law. Mixed results. Activists condemned the ruling. The majority seem to think justice has been served. Do you have any idea how to proceed? I don't know. We didn't do anything about this, sir. The seat of the governor must be filled. Normally, the president appoints the governor of the special zone directly. I'm afraid, despite Ms. Morgan's protest, the court decided to take a completely different road on this. So, okay. The deputy in question is a member of the National Front Party. So Bergie is now controlled by the National Front. She's a competent woman, but she keeps underestimating the old guard. Her naive idealism gets the better of her at times. Luckily, he will not be able to assume any of the predecessors of constitutional activities. There's not really much I can do. Thank you for letting me know. Of course, sir. Okay, economic direction. We will privatize these companies. One thing to remember is that since you have been transparent about promoting a market economy, privatization will not cost us much support. Let's see here. Unfortunately, we have missed our current budget targets for the quarter. I mean, we missed it by one. It's not like it's a huge one. Rain's currently sitting in my lap. She's just kind of chilling out. She just likes you just like my body warmth, don't you, girl? Okay. So I shouldn't have told him that. So if you don't give Lucian something later on, he will snake on you. I'm not super worried about that at the moment, but we'll see. Okay, good evenings. Welcome to Mr. Economy. Without further ado, economic shift towards privatization. Mr. President. Okay. I'm glad we're staying firmly on the path of a market economy. We'll boost our economy by providing much needed funds. Okay. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. Let's go ahead. Sort of state corporation. They do a lot of building of government buildings. Okay. I can't privatize it. If I privatize the United Sword Corporation, Swordland State Corporation, that would result in the Conservatives throwing me under the bus. What if we sell a minority share of the Sword of State Corporation? It would be better than nothing, but why not start there? We need to be decisive. Okay. All right. What about selling a majority share? Okay, let's move on to the next option. Okay, Eastern Mercopa, let alone Swordland. They call themselves the leaders of the world in coal. They certainly have enough evidence to back it up. We still have a lot to gain if it's privatized. I fully support the privatization of this company to any extent. Okay, one of the most knowledgeable companies. What if we sell a majority share? My preference is selling majority share of both. It would give us the most value. I think you should go with that choice. We should go for minority share instead. What are your thoughts of selling a minority share? Okay. All right, so I'm ready to make my decision. So we are going to sell a minority share of the Sword of State Corporation. That'll give us some money. That'll bring in some private sector investment. And we are going to have a minority share in Neta Mining, because some government control is good, but so we're going to go with that. I want to thank you, Mr. President. The decision will revitalize our economy. I wish we could have proceeded more. Partial privatization will damage our conservative voter base, but it's not something we can't handle. I'll do the best I can. Okay. That'll be all for today. I know everyone has busy schedules. Thank you, Simon. Okay, so we are now at a positive budget again. So that means I have money to spend. Okay, Unified Education Language Act. Section 1 stipulates that all educational institutions in Swordland are required to conduct their teaching in the country's official language, except in the case of foreign language instruction. To offer courses in any language other than Swordish, institutions must obtain explicit approval from the Ministry of Education. Any universities, technical colleges, or other educational institutions found to be in non-compliance will face temporary suspension. Okay, so I am signing this. The Education Unification Act has been passed. Oppression of bloodish people. Okay, results of the economic direction. Let's see where we are. Okay, we'll do this, and then I think I'll finish off with this one. Marcel, Carante, and Tusk entered the conference room. The two men stood across from me, leaving an empty chair between them. Good to see you, Mr. President. It's been a while. Here's a gift. He gives me a bottle of 30-year-old wine. Thank you for the gift. Marcel burst out laughing. Old man, you always think so small. You lack vision to see the bigger picture. It's nice to see you, Mr. President. Here, a real gift. He took a set of car keys from his pocket and gave it to me. Come take a look. I look out the window and see a car that only the richest of the rich in Swordland can afford. Thank you, Marcel. I can't wait to drive it. I know you would like it. Surely better than a bottle of whiskey, little boy. Do you think I can't do better? Me, Walter Tusk. Thank you both. Let's begin the meeting. Sounds good. Gentlemen, please take your seats. Okay. About to sell private shares in Swordland's two largest national corporations, and here you are showering with gift. You're both clearly more skilled at business than you are at subterfuge. So tell us, why do you deserve to claim these shares before they go to the general market? President, listen, well, you and I haven't been on the best of terms recently. I want to nurture a profitable relationship between us where we both win. If I had them, I could do so much more for Swordland. You haven't seen what I and my connections are capable of. Do you want to get elected? No problem. I will make sure of it. Doesn't that sound great? What about you, Marcel? He can't do anything he's not capable of. Mr. President asked me, not you. Before you spew those big words, make sure you can actually do it, Walter. Mr. President, first off, Mr. Tusk here is lying about the extent of his influence. True, he might command some of the people in the assembly, but what he is sitting on top of right now is built by my father. I want to be straightforward with you. If you give me the shares, I will topple this old man, which means I will have the same influence he does over the assembly. I can sway them as you like. But that is not all, Mr. President. I have something that gives me an advantage over this man. I control the media. Can give you power over both the Swordish Assembly and the public. Basically, it's a guaranteed win. You little snake. You're 20 years early to be the head of the Lotharberg group. I made the group what it is. What is the decision? The shares will go to Marcel. What? Haven't you heard a word of what I said? It's all right, old man. You learned your place today. Thank you, Mr. President. I will arrange a small transfer as a personal thanks. Here is the paperwork. You'll need to sign here and here. Marcel and Walter stood up. I think we have very busy schedules. See you later, Mr. President. Okay, so there we go. Personal wealth. All right. So I think we'll end it here. Let's just see how the economy is doing. It's not great. It's not bad. The welfare situation is very good, though. Welfare situation is excellent. Nationwide protests. So diplomacy's good. So I don't think we're doing bad, honestly. We're just going to kind of keep going along the path we're going. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. We're going to continue along with this. Hopefully we'll get this finished, and then I will do some editing of the whole playthrough. So God bless.